How far does the Numbertaker from the Numberjack scale? Let's find out, guys. Well, first we have to know who is the Numbertaker.
Numbertaker, have you seen the Numbertaker?
The Numbertaker is one of the villains, otherwise known as a meanie from the Numberjacks TV series. Being the only human if you count the puzzler, well, he looks like he likes minors, so we're not going to count him. The meanies are known for their crimes of terrorism, as they are terrorist tricksters, apparently, whatever that means. Numbertaker usually carries most of his items with him, in his massive white coat looking quite drippy. The items he has are an automatic grabber, a large butterfly net, a magnet, a long pointed pole, a hook, and sometimes his own hands which he uses. These items are commonly used to take quantities of numbers or items, as this is what the Numbertaker does. It's literally his hobby on the wiki, removing and messing with mathematical equations. What this means is his main target for chaos is taking numbers, whether they're physical or in a presented format. So he's essentially the ruler of numbers in this regard. So I'm going to say something and I'm going to explain what I mean in a minute. What do you guys think would happen if we put him into the One Piece universe? One? Did you say one? Dear God, he absolutely destroys them without a second thought. His number suck up would be too much for everyone. What about Saitama? Some people say he beats Goku. No! But he is one of the strongest characters from a really good manga, not a good anime. But what is Saitama from? It's on the tip of my tongue. One Punch Man? More like one Suck Man, because he could suck Saitama dry, straight for Buki style, and I think we would all want that for ourselves. Because if you have a 1 on you in your title, just in general, you will be soloed. What about series that don't have this stuff? We use the classic cosmological argument that a power scaler would do. The Numbertaker takes numbers as either pairing to generally cause chaos. But like most children's cartoons, his powers become immense in a combat form. As DNA, the thing that makes you, yes, is in a double helix format. A format and one long term is essentially a line of code, which is basically numbers. As the Numbertaker doesn't target the physical representation of the number, quantity is also relevant. For instance, the number 2 appeared, he can take that. But if there was 2 of something, he could take them. DNA is binary code in a more simple explanation, therefore he could physically alter a person and destroy them by taking their DNA. And yes, that does involve their height, and it's not even reaching it because he's doing the main thing he's supposed to be, causing chaos by affecting numerals. Now you might be saying, two things. Secondly though, this isn't a gender. It's basically the fact that Numbertaker can alter the rules of people around him, which is making it so people can't use both their feet simultaneously, meaning he has control over human function. He can take items off a person instantly. I wish I could do that. To undress other men, obviously, it would be pretty gay otherwise. And not to mention he could take your balls and your penis. Now naturally he does target a specific quantity, so I suppose in a way you could say that is a main flaw, but he is able to change through them relatively fast. But even the strongest characters have a weakness. Numbertaker's main weakness is the brain game, and the Numberjack's problem-solving skills, creating original numbers leading to his defeat. Well, the Numbertaker is being put in a different dimension to Solo. Would the smartest characters in fiction think about this solution? If you were fighting someone who could take numbers and add them from any type of organism, would you assume that all you have to do to defeat him is this? And technically when he's focusing on a specific number, you can outscale those numbers, forcing him into a position where he needs to get a lot of something, such as the Numberjacks doing this in episode 14, the takeaway, as they realize his power scales too much. Therefore, the best way to overpower him is to force him to take too many of things, which basically makes him lose, as the brain game can be transferred with a specific command into his body, making this so only he can take one. As seen in this episode, however, there's something big about that. The brain game exists to counteract the Numberjacks meanies. As for someone so powerful, there'll always be a method of capturing. There's a reason people call Goku the strongest when he's not even the canonical strongest in his universe. Numberjack's abilities scale towards the Numbertaker and the other meanies, trapping them in a seat of relative balance, despite having the unironic number advantage. However, outside the Numberjack universe, the brain game isn't a thing. Now you might be thinking, well, a psychic character who can force commands would be really strong. Yeah. Now you might even think of Shinzo from Brainwashing, except no, because 2 reasons. Well, he isn't Japanese, so he'd have no idea what Shinzo's talking about.
No, that's gay.
4, don't let the Numbertaker see you.
And number 2, the Numbertaker doesn't talk. He doesn't smile. He can't be controlled. And the only time he smiles is when you know you're absolutely in danger.
He's smiling. He likes fun.
He's quite literally the biggest demon of the Numberjacks, and they're called his enemy. So while having natural weaknesses, most of his weaknesses are limited towards his own universe, not the other ones out there. We have no reason to assume that his mind can be controlled by any other character, as his mind is closed off outside of fiction. He does have a level of super speed. Now what's happening on the screen doesn't seem that fast, but it's a kid's show, and kids are dumb.
That's meanie, Numbertaker.
Now you know a character who has really amazing speed, if not a heavenly sound effect for it. That's right, Carlos Rivera and... in his lightning jab. The only boxer to attain heaven in the ring. Those are light speed punches, by the way, and I can't think of anyone else who attained heaven. Now this isn't quite a reach because he's able to use his belongings to steal things without people realizing. He casually takes these balls and no one even notices it was him. Surely you would notice, but he's just that fast. Not to mention, we are talking about reality manipulation. As seen in the episode Did You Notice Anything, where things begin to move rapidly and change, but despite it all, the people experiencing these events don't seem to realize it at all. I mean, he swapped places with this woman's boyfriend and she didn't notice, because he took their ability to notice reality changing away. Do you understand how overpowered this man is? He was bending reality casually. This isn't even his limit. He can alter people's perceptions while also changing everything at the same time. He could alter reality so it makes people think you never existed.
Who the fuck are you? How did you get news?
Scotland is not a real country!
He's not just a guy who takes numbers, he's a man who bends reality to his will for no reason, and he can just casually appear wherever he feels like. He can literally be invisible to every single human being. And something that adds to the theory is how he loses. Compared to the rest of the meanies who usually fly off, his is kinda casual. He doesn't suffer damage most of the time, he's just fine. Such as in the Seaside Adventure episode, one of the greatest combination of fiction ever, where all the meanies team up to cause pure chaos. But as they lose, just watch. Despite everyone flying away and being destroyed, the Numbertaker casually flaunts himself and leaves. Almost like he was never challenged. It was mercy, if you understand. When his defeat isn't karma, he phases out of existence. He has light speed disappearing feats. And now you might be thinking, well, even if he's strong, he doesn't have superhuman endurance. The brain game introduces purple lightning. Horde lightning in fiction tends to be overpowered. This means that at minimum, he is able to farm high level damage. Not to mention, the fact he disappears from existence time to time. He survives a racing technique, but also the strongest attack that Numberjacks ever performed. The attack that was able to take down all the meanies in a group effort, and despite that fact, he left calmly. This means that he could probably farm most of the strongest attacks in the world and just go, oh yeah, it's my turn now, before he absolutely slaps it on their face. He even made multiple versions of himself exploiting the Numberjacks' greatest weapon, brain game. But this was a temporary feat, as most of them didn't like each other, so its ability is debatable. But besides that, he's basically God. And that's before I mentioned the Numbertaker has an alter ego, the Number Maker, who can double and create anything, including the alteration of limbs, items. You could hypothetically double your heart in your body, which would blow you up. As number additions can also be quite dangerous, because numbers are going to exist in any form ever. He always comes back, never unmoving. He's actually the greatest villain in fiction. So I bid you adieu, and I'll talk to you all later.